Imagine getting promoted, right? More stress, more responsibility, more meetings, more politics, but not so much more money. That's what the role of a manager is. And this is a myth buster for a lot of you. People think the boss gets paid the most. That's actually not true. The highest performer in the team probably makes more than what the boss makes. That's the modern reality. Now, actively, more than ever before, the smartest employees are avoiding becoming a manager. This, what used to be a high status job 20 years ago, has become the thing that people are actively avoiding. People now want to remain individual contributors for as long as possible. And once you realize what's actually happened to the manager role, you can't see it the same way again, unfortunately. The strange thing is that organizations now need more managers than ever before because companies are clocking record revenues, highest white collar workforce in the history of employment, yet fewer people want to become managers. This was a job that represented status, right? Like I said, 20 years ago, if you were a manager, if you're a male manager, for example, in the Indian society, you would get rishtas easily. And it was simple, right? The best performer became the boss. But the nature of work itself changed. Let's say you're an exceptional engineer, right? Or an exceptional designer. Or let's say you're an exceptional salesperson. I'm from sales. So you spent years mastering this craft. You become the best at it. And then the company will say, congratulations, well done to you. Now we will reward you and promote you by making you do less of what you were once good at doing. Manage people instead. Think about how bizarre that is, right? A great engineer is rewarded by being less of an engineer. A great salesperson is rewarded by selling less. That's almost like saying if you're an exceptional footballer, you are rewarded by becoming a referee. The skills are completely different, but companies for some reason treat them as the same thing. Today's managers are stuck between two worlds. Managers have to report to their leaders who want faster growth, lower costs, and their employees, the managers' reportees, direct reportees, they want work-life balance, flexibility, sense of purpose, whatever that means. Guess who is wedged between the two worlds? The manager. This manager is expected to motivate their team, coach them, mentor the employees, create a safe space, protect company culture, and somehow at the end of all of that, still deliver on quarterly targets. So many managers feel less like leaders and more like shock absorbers. And what makes modern management increasingly exhausting, and I can back this up with a number of anecdotes, right? Most of my peers whom I started my career with are now managers, and one of my close friends is a manager, and most of them said the exact same thing, that their job is increasingly emotional. Their employees, they don't just want direction and strategy, they don't want to be told what to do, they need to be made to feel important, they need recognition, support, psychological safety, and all those things. So a manager is not just a manager, they are a teacher, they are a therapist, they are a life coach. And the icing on the cake is that none of this extra emotional labor, emotional effort, and it is effort, none of this is visible. It is all invisible and not appreciated. Nobody measures it, but it drains you immensely. After a day full of meetings, my peers who are now managers are exhausted. They have no energy left for social interactions at the end of the day. This is taking a toll on their personal lives also, which is why there's a running joke, right? Which is why the easiest way to trigger a manager is by asking them, so what is it that you really do? That is so evil now that you know the background context. Now we dismiss this complex problem by saying people these days don't want to take accountability, people don't want responsibility. Everybody's escaping all of these important things and only choosing convenience. That's not true. People want ownership. People want to influence and impact their teams. However, what they don't want is unnecessary bureaucracy. In many organizations, management has become disconnected from leadership. And that's the problem. People don't hate leadership itself. They hate what management has become. And like I said at the start of the video, the irony is that we now need more managers than ever before because companies are recording higher profits than ever before, higher revenues than ever before. With AI, the nature of jobs is changing. Teams are becoming more distributed. And none of this is going to change. The person who will create an environment where these people working from different parts of the world will put out their best work is the manager. The question isn't why don't people want to become one? The question should be, how did we make one of the most important jobs in organizations so unattractive? And until companies answer that question, this situation is not going to change. So there is no solution. I mean, I know too little to comment on a solution in this video, but I'll only say that the future belongs to organizations that make leadership and management aspirational again. And yes, pay managers more.